Hello and welcome to The Game Plan, where we bring you in-depth analysis of the greatest game of all each and every week right here on NRL.com. I'm Zach Bailey, joined by Anthony Seibold. Siebes, I love Anzac round in the NRL, another special weekend.
Yeah, fantastic tribute to the servicemen and women who have proudly served our country. And on Sunday afternoon at the SCG, the Roosters and Dragons game was a fantastic way to, I suppose, close down Sunday afternoon.
And of course, the Seagulls fans, they were thrilled to see Tommy Trbojevic back in action for the second straight week, not hampered by any hamstring injuries. He's our focus on the game plan this week. How impressed have you been by his return from injury?
Well, it's been outstanding. Over the last 2 weeks, Manly looked like a different team. And, to have Tom come back in, be a threat with the football, but also I think he's just as good on the other side of the ball. Their defence has improved significantly over the last 2 weeks. And, I'm sure that the Manly Seagulls supporters would have great hope and optimism going forward with Tommy and the team.
It doesn't matter where Tom Trbojevic is on the field, doesn't matter where Manly are with the ball, he's always a threat. So let's take a look at him coming out of yardage and the role he plays early on. Yeah,
so where we see Tom line up is often on the inside of his brother Jake. And 2 weeks ago when he came back from his injury, he lived inside, on the inside shoulder there of Jake Trbojevic. And this is just an example. He doesn't always get the football, but what he does, he takes the markers away from Jake. So Jake carries the ball. He finds his front, he finds that elbow and knee position, and he gets a quick play of the ball. And as you can see here, what happens is the Gold Coast Titans defender there doesn't get back because Jake lands short. On the next play, Tom comes into his own, finds that space on the inside of the A defender's shoulder there, makes a little line break, but he just lives off the back of Jake, Marty Tapau as well. He finds that timing with regards to quick play the balls. He's taking the ball like he's a front rower himself.
And that helps set up Manly's set and get that roll on with the tackles to come.
Yeah, it does. It creates momentum in the whole set. And Daly Cherry Evans or Kieran Foran are then kicking on the front foot, which means they're handing over the football in really good field position.
All right, you just mentioned him there, Daly Cherry Evans. He'd been under pressure in the opening rounds, and a lot of it was because he didn't have Tommy there to support him. But he's a great foil for DCE, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Ches has been outstanding the last 2 weeks, and it's no, it's no impact with regards to Tommy coming back into the team. And if we have a look here, I spoke about Tom living on the inside shoulder of his brother Jake. You'll also see that quite a bit from Tom on the inside shoulder of Cherry Evans as well. Now, he doesn't always get the footy, as I said, but what he does to the marker and what he does to the A defender here. So the two people we're looking at here is Moses Mbai and also Leilua in the back row. They're worried about Tom Trbojevic getting the football, which means Cherry Evans can dig all the way in and put Luke Brooks and the West Tigers' left-hand side defence under pressure. And what Tom does, he backs up on the middle third of the field, similar to some examples we showed a couple of weeks ago from Pappenhausen and Tedesco. Really good job. Looks simple, but Tom's presence there takes away the marker and also the A defender in that instance there.
And you just mentioned there, we spoke about support plays a couple of weeks ago, but also that inside pressure. If he's not on the inside shoulder there of Daly Cherry Evans, Moses Mbai can jam on Cherry and make him have to play early.
Yeah, that's right. So ball players, they want to dig all the way into the line, particularly when they're going to play short. And as you said, Moses Mbai was interested in Tommy Turbo there on the inside. And as I said, it means Cherry's got more time to play.
All right, so Tom Trbojevic has always been great on his feet, but one thing I've noticed over the last couple of weeks is his strength and his ability to bust the line when it doesn't look like there's much happening for them.
Well, like I showed in the first clip, there's some one-out carries where Tom's hard to handle. He's almost like a front rower carrying the football. And over the weekend, there was some really good examples of this. And this is one of them. Tommy's getting the ball one off the ruck there, like a front rower would in that field position, and pulls straight through two defenders, Cherry Evans and Marty Tapau back up in support. But you can almost sense it from Cherry Evans that he thought Tom was going to make a line break here. If I hold it here, you'll see Cherry Evans. He was at dummy half, but what he does, and Martin Tapau also does a fantastic job out here, pushing in support. But just watch Cherry Evans. He accelerates as well. As soon as Tommy accelerated into the line, Cherry Evans did, and then Martin Tapau. Fantastic to see the number 10 push up in support and get a try under the sticks.
And that wasn't the only example. You said you saw a couple of examples against the West Tigers. This next one is probably even more impressive when it comes to the bust he makes through the line.
Yeah, again, a quick play the ball from the Manly Seagulls, and what happens off the back of that, we see Tommy Trbojevic goes from that inside ball option to want to carry one off the ruck, and another fantastic example. But Tom accelerates into the line there, in between two defenders again. And Cherry Evans, well, a fantastic example on Sunday with regards to push support. Almost reminded me of Terry Lamb, who played for the Bulldogs back in the 80s and 90s. But he knew that every time that Tom Trbojevic took the line on, he's a chance of poking his nose through.
He is supremely strong, though. Like, not every player can bust through a line like that.
No, I mean, he's over 100 kilos. He's obviously 6'4", 6'5". He's got a big presence. He's not unlike Greg Inglis. When Greg Inglis was in his prime, he carried the football like another forward. And I think that Tom Trbojevic at the moment is carrying the football like an extra forward. And he's doing the tough stuff. He's not just doing the pretty stuff down the other end of the field. He's carrying one off the ruck, and he's making a significant impact for the Manly Seagulls, particularly after they get a quick play of the ball.
And you hear people talk about rugby league speed. I mean, if he doesn't turn the gas on, the turbo on, just those 2 or 3 metres out, he doesn't bust through the line.
No, he doesn't. He accelerates into contact, which means he's a big chance of winning that contact. And he come out the other side there in a couple of those earlier examples.
All right, Daly Cherry Evans loves Tommy Trbojevic hanging inside him, and you mentioned Jake, his brother, as well. But in this example, he finds himself outside Jake.
Yeah, so again, in and around Jake all the time. Now, this is 10 metres or 12 metres off their try line. I like this shape. Chad Randall, the attack coach for the Manly Seagulls, obviously trying to shift the ball to Tommy Trbojevic in different parts of the field. And this was an example where Tom turns up on the outside shoulder there of Jake. And you spoke before about accelerating into the contact. Well, that's what he did there against Ash Taylor. Again, Saab is one of the quickest players in the competition, pushes up on Tom's left-hand side in support. And again, a line break out of a yard each, try underneath the sticks. It's happened a number of times over the last 2 weeks.
So they've gone 88 metres there. Tom Trbojevic has made plenty of metres himself over the last couple of weeks when he's been back. 2 tries, 4 try assists, 4 line breaks, 9 tackle breaks, 205 average run metres, and Manly have put him in cotton wool as soon as both of those results were done and dusted. Let's take a look, though, further up the field and how Tom gets involved when Manly are in slightly better field position.
Yeah, so over the years, Tom's showed that he likes or has a preference for living on the left-hand side of the play of the ball for the Manly Seagulls. And particularly when Trent Barrett coached there, you would see Blake Green as the ball player and you see Cherry Evans on the right and Tom Trbojevic on the left. You'll see him pop up on both sides of the field a little bit more these days, but this is a classic example where he is on the left-hand side. There's a few things I want to point out. The first one is this. The very talented ball player there in Josh Schuster. He's a 5'8" who's playing on the left-hand side for the Manly Seagulls. Now, he looks and reminds me a lot of Glenn Stewart, and he's building a fantastic combination with Tom Trbojevic over Tom's first 2 weeks back. And you'll see here, he's the ball player here. The other person to point out is Brad Parker. Brad Parker's going to go and take off the inside shoulder of the 2-in defender. So he's spoken about that being a really prominent shape in 2021 in the NRL. So there's Schuster going to the line. Parker runs on the inside shoulder of the 2-in defender, which creates a 2v1 for Tom Trbojevic, and he's too fast, too strong to have a 2v1 advantage at the back of shape.
Josh Schuster loves a no-look pass, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Well, he's a very talented kid. I remember watching him play when he was 15 or 16. So he's been in the Manly system for some time. Scott Fulton recruited him. Fantastic young player. I think he's only going to get better and better. But as an edge-back rower, he's got so many similarities to Glenn Stewart with his ball-playing abilities. And
they love Manly trying to get Tom in on those edge defenders and trying to expose that 2 men in.
Yeah, so we actually see here now, there's an example on the weekend against the West Tigers where here's Tom out the back of the right-hand side of the Manly Seagulls. As I said before, his preference has always been the left-hand side. So there he is. Out the back, trying to create a 3v2. They don't quite get it done. Luke Brooks, good check and go there, which meant that he could make the tackle. So there wasn't an overlap there. Now they'll play back towards the sticks. And what you'll see is Tom work really hard to get back over to the left-hand side now. So he's been on the right, 2 plays later. Here he is all the way out there on the left. And if I point him out, he's sort of building that combination, as I said, with Schuster. And you'll see here again, it's the exact same example or exact same shape as the week before. There is Schuster as the ball player there. You'll see on his outside, Brad Parker. And Brad Parker is going to take the inside shoulder of the 2-in defender, which will create a 2v1. And Tom Trbojevic, pretty special skills. But for those young people watching, the thing which created that pass for Tom was his early catch. He gets an early catch here, out in front. He's able to transition the ball. Fantastic finish there by Garrick in the corner, but that was pretty special, those couple of plays where Tom Trbojevic, he didn't just get out the back of shape for 1 play on that set. He got out there 2 plays later and put Ruben Garrick in the corner.
And he almost caught the ball on his hip and still had had the chance to get it away.
Yeah.
Not every player can do.
No, that's right. So, but he had an early catch. So, again, he would have liked it out in front, but he got the hands in his. He got the ball in his hands nice and early there. He was able to have a quick transition under pressure from the right-hand side winger for the Tigers.
So, of all those things, all those elements we've spoken about in Tom Trbojevic game, what's the most impressive for you? Is it a turn of speed? Is it his ability to catch pass early? Is it that acceleration through the line?
Well, he's a multi-skilled player. He's got fantastic skills. He's very powerful and fast, and he competes. He works really hard off the ball. It's not just what he does on the footy or when he has the football in his hands. He works extremely hard in attack and defence when he doesn't have the football. So it's a range of skills. He's a fantastically talented player, and he's been a big in over the last 2 weeks.
And the big question is he the most influential player in the game to his team?
Well, it looks like he is. I think we had a look at a statistic earlier today. Out of the last 21 games he's played for Manly Seagulls, he's been part of 16 victories. So they've only lost 5 times out of their last 21 when he's played. So that tells me he's a very significant player, and he has certainly an impact every time he plays for the Seagulls, and most of the time it's really positive.
Okay, so are Manly a top 8 team if Turbo stays fit all year?
Of course they are. Yeah, I think what they've shown over the last 2 weeks, they're certainly going to be a threat if they can keep him fit and healthy, because I think Cherry Evans plays better when Tom's in the side, and certainly looks as though Jake Trebojevic's performances have really increased over the last 2 weeks with his younger brother back as well. All
right, Steve, as always, thank you for your great analysis. It was great to see Tommy Turbo back in action over the past fortnight. Hopefully he stays fit for the rest of the year. Thank you for tuning in for The Game Plan once again.